I have the single honor this evening to have been introduced to you as the flag bearer of this very promising party that Nigerians are yearning for. We went through the processes as outlined by our laws and that of the INEC in producing candidates. Today, that result is what is being presented before you, and I have with every sense of humility, sense of duty, sense of patriotism, commitment and concern for the welfare and well-being of Nigeria and Nigerians, totally committed for peace, security, unity, and well-being, and then a great future for this country, that I accept the nomination and I accept to be the flag bearer of this very promising without mixing words. To every reasonable Nigerian, man or woman, old or young, including those yet to come, we all have a Herculean task before us of upholding the truth and getting ourselves truly committed to seeking for the real qualities of leadership and anchoring our trust therein for it. Nigeria deserves a lot more than what we have seen so far. This country, on one hand, is very rich, scientifically proven, but on another hand, we see traces of poverty from the north to south, hopelessness complementing every citizen, and people complain by the day. Rules of law are reduced to barely nothing. If you have something in your pocket, you are reckoned with. To the majority poor, no matter you are shouting, no matter what you do to go to complain and to channel your grievances therein, are only heard as just a mere process. To us, this is not an environment that is promising, particularly to a country that is really rich on one hand and poor on the other hand. This irony is what nobody can scientifically accept. It is this and numerous vices confronting Nigeria that some of us have been called upon by numerous groups from north to south, and today culminating into this promising party, providing a platform for us to come forward to accept leadership and the leadership provision to the people. I'm particularly concerned about security, having had all the causes of insurgency physically radiating everywhere in all parts of the country. No country can accept the percentages that the yardstick known globally for the measurement of insurgency, as we can see clearly in Nigeria, that is acceptable. Our economy, in most cases, what you hear is different from what you see. Every fiscal year will come and go, but at the end of the day, citizens cannot turn back in retrospect to look at what budget has presented and achievements that is there earmarked to be attained for it to be seen physically by citizenry. Such gimmicks must change. And we will be bold in doing what is right, saying what is right, educating people to what is right, and doing what is right for Nigeria. Our political arrangements in the country, those who have the advantages of utilizing the provisions of the law to manage the mechanisms of sustenance of political arrangements or administration in the country are having upper hand. So it was from 1990 to 2015. And the traces we see today from 2015 to this moment is a reflection of the grievances of people of what 1999 to 2015 was all about. To us, these arrangements must be seen to be touched, so that the political arrangement or system in the country will provide opportunities for every Nigerian, man or woman, poor or rich. But where the rich will be the ones to have the dominance in taking the advantage of the system is not right to the people. After all, it is such vices that promote causes of insurgency with grievances that one cannot answer in a country. The right to speak, the right to associate, the right to present, and the right to evaluate, and the right to be accepted as a citizen are part of it. Our international relations, education system, health system. In our economy or economic management of this country, there are specific areas that calls for special attention. The management of the very basics, solid mineral resources, discoveries of where they are, and then adherence to the laws governing utilizing them, and then the creation of some, and then adjustments therein, and the adherence to them. That alone will make this country a very, very rich, very promising, and then will place Nigeria at a very, very advantage point for the whole world to see. But today it is left to people who come abusing immigration laws, and you find them in nook and corners of this country exploiting and taking unchallenged because they have greened the hands of some people. That is not right. Gas, oil, and the relevant materials therein are also not been right. If you have conducted lately even the activities in oil and gas sector and the management in the hands of those entrusted upon, you will know that Nigeria is really sick. We do not see results. We equally do not see, at the end of the day, projections that is touching the lives of the people. This and many more push me into accepting, particularly that we have the advantage of crisscrossing this country state by state, community to community. We have seen people speak. We are not the type that will go from one city to the other by air, not knowing what people are actually feeling and what they are saying. That's why when you speak from what you see in urban areas, those who are there in rural areas will see you speaking a different language altogether. We have been to rural communities from north to south. We have spoken to victims of insurgency. We have spoken to young ones who every day are talking about hopelessness in their country. We are being contacted by technocrats who believe that running out of Nigeria is the very best. We are being talked to by colleagues who believe that they have served Nigeria but now totally neglected. We are talking to people in the judicial system who have served yesterday and are seeing the rot today complementing the system. We are talking to civil service who believe and know well that so much is going on that does not represent what the ethics is all about. We have spoken to the retirees. We have spoken to those in active service. We are talking to those who are aspiring to serve, but no employment and no opportunities of such. Scientifically, we believe the majority unemployed class of this country can be engaged in many ways. There are numerous innovations that we have. But for the purpose of this press conference, I tell you, we have a document that we'll adhere to, that will answer into various classes of Nigerians. In this party, we are today primarily concerned, and for obvious reasons, with the victims of abuses of maladministration. I'm talking about the majority. Now let me categorize. First, women. Women have been the victims of deception, particularly when election comes. Women are the ones that are seen as mothers, deceived whenever election comes. Lies are told to them, but no sooner power is attained, they are pushed back to where they were. And most of their requests are not answered. From the issue of gender equality to the provisions of services and minor supports for them to utilize in helping themselves. From minor loans to assistance, as today being embarked by numerous countries in third world, has been conversed by IMF, World Bank, and United Nations. If you take a look at our women, take any state from north to south, any from these 37 states, 36 plus Abuja, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. But they are very important only when election comes. In this party, deception is an abuse, and we will not converse for what we can do. Next is our youth. Unemployment, hopelessness, victims of insurgency, orphans all over, with nowhere to turn to. It is of great concern to this party and to all of us. There are numerous ways to engage our youth, numerous ways to get them involved into the system. But this is one secret that we have. When God Almighty gives us the opportunity tomorrow, we will unveil a lot more. And our younger ones will know that there is care, there is attention, and there are innovations for them to get involved to empower themselves. People with disability is the next. I thought a certain pronouncement by a political party some few years back was right when they said people with disability in Nigeria cannot be more than 5 billion people. That is wrong. I know very well from the survey I did, alongside our friends and associates in rendering services to this country. People with disability are by far more than what anybody can imagine. Plus insurgency, accidents on our roads, poor health care system has produced a lot more on our streets. They are beggars today with little attention from either the system, packaging them from the welfare arrangement to know that these are fellow Nigerians, and anybody can become a victim. You can become disabled in any accident. From even mere bathroom, one can slip, and before you know it, you become a victim as a disabled person. So if accidents can happen to any person, then it is only right, even if the law does not call you to do so, to know that brothers and sisters who are disabled are as important as any able person, and this party, this promising party, will set the pace if given the chance, God willing. The next are our peasants, the poor. Our poor people from north to south are there scavenging for what to eat daily. They find it difficult to do that. Inclusive areas that produces the main source of living in Nigeria. I'm talking of South-South. If you take the pains to go, not a politician who will come conversing for power, but only to now look at whatever the newspaper says and he utilizes that. No. Go to the rural areas, stay with the people, live with them and see the way they live. You will have a second thought on the way Nigeria is. So people who will go to mainly capital cities to go on campaign and then come to converse on television rather than going to the poor rural areas to live and know how much it takes in terms of pains for people to live for a day alone. Such persons are what we require. Come to provide leadership to the people from the pains of the people as your own experience. So our poor people are another anchor point. And lastly, heroes in Nigeria, living or dead. The dead heroes who have served are not fully recognized, not fully rewarded. They are not being copied because they have served and died. The poor ones who are heroes who have died are not even remembered at all. But the poor people who are heroes and given their very best, that Nigeria is living on their shoulders, are people we will recognize. And then ways of rewarding them, not only recognizing them, promoting and rewarding them is a system we have well packaged as a party. This document, this vision, and this projection is what we are looking at. We want a new Nigeria. And I'm quick to say this. God Almighty has created day and night. You walk in daytime and sleep in the night. He gave us a week for us to count and know that even in a week, you also have 2 days for you to go on holiday. In a year, there is an arrangement for you to take 1 month as a holiday, which shows that more than 3/3, if you look at it carefully, you are there resting. We only work for 1/3 in rendering service to our country. Yet, there are some people in this country who believe stealing is a 24-hour thing, it's a 7-day thing, it's 336 days responsibility or service they must do. They never go on holidays. They keep stealing and ruining this country. All we are saying is there is a certain practice that is unacceptable, it's satanic in its own way. To us, this is the first way to continue to fight corruption in this country. Fighting corruption in a form of gimmicks by allowing only one agency to canvass for is, to me, non-scientific, and to me is just a political tool to address or to hunt enemies. If you have to hold corruption in Nigeria, there are numerous ways to do it. Besides, corruption are of many types. Financial corruption is just one aspect of it. But there are also administrative corruption, where people in high places tell lies, is corruption. Setting bad example to younger ones is corruption. Distorting facts and events in our country and telling lies and having documents that misguide or misinform and create disaffection to the people by giving misinformation, meaning promoting hate and investing in hate, is also corruption. A country that cares for itself is a country that will look at the entire problems, A to Z, affecting their people and having solutions to them. We will not shy away from looking at our problems. We will also not shy away from presenting what our capacity is all about. We will also not shy away from raising them, no matter how much it will hurt any person. Leadership without fear of God Almighty, leadership informed by the city, leadership any time of any party or any person at any given time that comes to only deceive people and tell them what they want to hear, when they want to hear, what you want them to hear, is to us also one of the worst types of corruption. When people give you their hope, their trust, their rights, for you to lead them there, only for them to see the seat at the end of the day with no result to fall back to, is shattering to their psyche. And this, if you can, all of us here, is a challenge. All of us look at Nigeria, north and south. You know that each and every one of us in this world, as an ambassador of the total percentage or total population of Nigeria, has suffered such type of psychological punishment in one way or the other. To us, realism in providing leadership to the people are all we are after. We have to draw a line from yesterday's rhetorics to tomorrow's realities so that this country will be